Aloha, my name is Kamale, and I'm going to be doing a reflection video for our Mediation Lab night. My partner was Sayuki, and I have another partner that's messing with this video. But yeah, so the biggest issue the focal point of our lab night was mediating a conflict between a white mainland student and a student of some sort of other cultural background. And we had one student, the white student, that really wanted to form some sort of like haole club for culture night, and the other student who was against that. So it was our job to mediate them. Not to provide solutions for them, but to give them each a safe space to listen. So, in the beginning, it was really important for us to follow the steps of mediating, especially setting clear and concise expectations, so we did let them know, like, we're not here to be, like the parents who are going to provide a solution for you guys. We're just here to listen and guide you guys to a place where you can find your own solutions, which thankfully worked a lot. And we also, I feel like we were very successful in kind of explaining the rules of it. For example, if one of them wanted to interrupt the other one, we gave them a piece of paper where they could write down their thoughts. That way we kind of took on a provider role in a way, to feel like they were being heard even if they weren't necessarily speaking, which again I was very grateful for. And so as we dove in to the mediation, it was very clear that both parties had a very competitive conflict style, which meant a lot of yelling and loud interrupting of each other, even after multiple attempts to get them to, respect each other's boundaries. It proved very difficult. So, going back to the concepts we learned in the Anatomy of Peace and Dangerous Love, we could see that their conflict styles were both extremely competitive, which when brought together led to a lot of explosive behaviors, and then at times they would jump from competitive and assertive to super quiet and angry, which, in other words could be a bit more like intimidating. So another important component that we applied when we were dealing with them was, because they were both so competitive, it was clear there was some sort of need that they felt was not being met. And so, as the Anatomy of Peace states, a lot of the times when that need isn't being met, it can be super useful to provide whatever they seem to be lacking. So in the first 10 minutes, there was a lot of yelling, even some physical altercations where they hit each other. And so we decided that we needed to be better at providing a safe space, because this mediation that we had started off was not a safe space for either of them. That much was clear. So we were able to interrupt them and do a breathing exercise together. And during that breathing exercise, we just asked for silence. We tried to take the role of provider and teacher on, which meant to provide the space of peace, not only to provide it though, but to teach them why it was important. And so I was able to use that, environment structure and turn this very explosive conflict towards something more constructive, because almost as soon as the breathing exercise was over, they were both so much more calm, relaxed, and focused. And then we were able to explain how breathing can be a place of meeting, especially in Polynesian culture. And as we explained that a bit more, it became a teaching opportunity, which again promoted an atmosphere of peace. And it was after that point that we really started making headway with our participants in the mediation. So as it continued on, we worked really hard on asking them follow-up questions on their past experiences, their beliefs, why they had thought certain ways. Something that I did not succeed super well in is providing a balance between the two parties. But luckily my partner Sayuki saw that there was kind of this misbalance where I was paying more attention to the student of a different cultural background than I was from the student from the mainland. So Sayuki then turned to the student from the mainland and she asked them, what experience have you had that's made you feel this way, that you haven't been accepted? And that opened up so many gateways. And so that showed to me that I think I was letting my personal bias slip into the mediation a little bit, and that wasn't a good idea at all. And so I'm very grateful and proud of her for utilizing those efforts. It kind of goes back to exercising dangerous love. I needed to be better at stepping outside of myself to love them both equally as people, which I had thought I was doing, but clearly it wasn't to the extent necessary for them. And so by the time that we reached the end of the mediation, both parties had expressed their concerns and they were both able to understand each other's past experiences a bit more. And we were able to reach this conclusion where they both agreed to meet with club leaders and discuss some changes that they should make to the clubs to make them more inclusive. So overall, I feel like it was very successful. What I would do differently is definitely take time adjusting to conflict styles. I feel like a lot of the beginning I was trying the same thing until the breathing exercise, so probably doing like rinse repeat with more tactics. And another thing I would probably do differently is being more clear on like the rules because we had a lot of interruptions, and even though I tried to be clear with the rules, it was clear they weren't being respected. So some sort of follow-up when a rule isn't expected, I didn't have a plan for that while I should have. So but overall it felt pretty successful. I feel like we both were able to learn from the experience a lot, and I'm super grateful for everyone who helped put it together.